I just wanted to share a little bit of some of the work I'm doing myself in terms of being an artist and questions I often pose for myself just to overcome maybe creative blocks. Or this might be, it might start off with looking at the creative work of other artists that have created artwork in the past. And when I say past, I mean past 100 years, such as I might look at Da Vinci or a Goya, or something more modern, maybe like a Picasso or Warhol, just to, I've made a few notes here, understand their body of work and how they grew as an artist, what they might have, what topics or themes they might have started initially with. I do also like to go back to their student days and see if I can find any work of when they were practicing, and sketchbooks I really like to try and find of theirs. I know Da Vinci has a lot of sketchbook ideas and samples, and so I like to look at that. But more so, I've been able to understand how their methods as well within the sketch work, how they work or learn about light and dark, or the heaviness of a pencil mark that they might make in terms of their hatching. What is their style? What did they practice and hone and get good at? So I like to look at the greats and study how they learned and how they then applied that to their masterpieces. So the question I throw out to you is, what are your painting goals? What are yours? What are your influences? And if you can create a clear picture of that, you can do that through, I suppose, creating a vision board. As examples I gave, are there any artworks that really excite you? Just exposing yourself to maybe artists and art disciplines that you haven't really explored in the past is a good way of developing painting goals, because you're exposing yourself to more knowledge and more expertise. So how do you get clear on what it is you want to create? You have a limited amount of time as it is during a day. So how are we going to do this? We can start by paring down the amount of images and creative inspiration. The use of mood boards, maybe taking one or two images and then creating and building a theme from that. The colours, the textures, brush stroke, media used within those inspirational images. And as I say, looking at the greats, the artists who created masterpieces such as Monet, Van Gogh, Goya, Picasso, and maybe looking at their work and choosing a goal style that you have for yourself, that you'd like to, that you've learned from them, or you can pick out from their work that you would like to maybe implement into your own art exploration. And just think about where they were headed with their work, and where are you headed with yours also. And what kind of art are you making? What aspects are you trying to pull out of it? Is it about the values between light and dark? What marks are you using to achieve these illustrations or these ideas? how are you going to get these values across? There's always a gap between where we are and where we want to be. There's always a gap between where we are and where we want to be with our work. And the gap is the game plan. It's the action plan. What steps or what pointers can you use for the gap that gets you from A, where you are now, to B or Z, where you want to be? And what effort needs to go into doing this? What habits do you need to curate? Do you need to maybe get up earlier? Do you need more resources, more tools? Do you need to spend more time experimenting with those tools so that you can create your own unique style? Or maybe you just need to pare things down and simplify things. Simplify your line drawing or the values that you use. Are they specific to what it is you're trying to create? Or what it is you're concentrating on? Maybe you're stuck on a certain area or aspect of your work. How can you bring that inspiration to that aspect of your work that you're stuck on? A task you could do if you are stuck is to maybe create a sketch or a charcoal drawing of the aspect that you're stuck on. Try and do what you're stuck on in a different medium. Use a different medium to create it, and see if you can then overcome that issue. If you're using paint, maybe you could sketch with charcoal, or you could use collage, paper cutout collage, and create the same aspect with images that you've cut out and glued down and stuck together. Try and colour match it if possible. Maybe you could explore colour and play with that. Does it try more intense colours or less intense colours? Another thing I would do when I was doing design would be you could create a sketch of what it is you're having a problem with if you don't want to damage your original art piece, and then cut it along the X and Y horizontal axis, vertical and horizontal axis, cut it up so it's in 4, and then move them around, swap them around, and create another abstract image. Anyway, that's going off. That's something completely different. But yeah, see if you can replicate brushwork or the composition of the masters. Take inspiration from life, get still life images. And how do you know when you've reached your paint goals? I guess you'll know when you're happy with the colour, with the mark making that you're creating, with the values, and you're able to create a concise piece that you're happy with, that you no longer want or wish to change or tweak, that you're happy with the total composition, and you no longer wish to change anything. You can also work with scale as well, maybe, or perspective, changing it, making a piece larger or smaller, changing the perspective from maybe side view or front view, and see if you need to, as I said before, put more effort into a certain aspect, or pare it back, simplify things. And yeah, that is where the masters come into play, and how they tackled, because I'm sure they experienced problems, but because there was so much onus, so much importance placed on learning and experimentation with their artwork back in those days. They they learnt to hone out any problems within their own style. So this was just the first of many art podcasts that I hope to create, and I hope it's given you some food for thought. It was just some notes I'd thrown together as I do, which is something I've made part of my own habit, just listening to other artists and maybe just help me in terms of what I need in order to achieve my own artistic endeavours and goals as well, learning goals. So thank you for taking the time to listen, and I hope it's been useful, and please tune in for my next podcast. So thanks for listening. And I'll just go over the pointers again. So you can, if you're developing a portfolio or a sketchbook of work, create work in a style of maybe a master, or create a body of work in the style of a master. Think about what your painting goals are, what paintings or artistic works really excite you, motivate you, inspire you, and get clear on what you want to create in terms of your own work. If something is perplexing you in terms of something that you're stuck on, try paring it down, simplifying it. Look at the greats, look at the masters, and look at their own techniques in terms of what you're trying to achieve. If it's paint, look at how they approached their painting techniques, or sketchwork, mark making, values. Create a study of your own work if you're finding difficulty with something. Maybe change the medium or the media that you use. And look at colours. Maybe make your colours more intense. Pare it down. Your brushwork, composition. And look at if you can implement still life or into your work. How can you make it more organic, more accessible for the viewer? And how do you know when you've reached your paint goals? And ways you can assess this is the colour, the values that you use, the mark making. And so that's just a quick breakdown of just things to journal and think about as you go about your artistic day. And it is helpful to just think about what tools you can use, what inspiration you can gain to help with your creativity and creation. So I hope this has been useful. Thank you for listening, and tune in next time. Please like, please subscribe.